So briefly, we're going to talk a little bit about image mapping and how to make dynamic surfaces in a 3D environment. So here, we've loaded the Methodist University logo, and I've also put the tower that we made earlier there. And if you look at this in perspective view, you can see that we've got a lot going on. And if I go into the surface editor, I can see that I've got my face and I've got my non-face. And the face, I put some specularity on it. I've made that a little bit metallic. And so, a little bit metallic. And the non-face, I've kept in dark green, and I've given it some transparency. So it kind of looks like a ghost image. And so, if we go into our camera view, and we move our camera, let's modify move, and see if we can get right up on this. And if we hit the F9 button, there we have a realistic interpretation of what we got so far. And all we're going to do here is we want to add a little bit of jazz to this. We want to give it something interesting to look at. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to move the camera now off axis so that we can see that part of it. Ultimately, we want to create an animated version of this logo that begins and ends with the official logo, because we're not changing the logo, we're just indicating that there's more under the surface, so to speak. So if I then move this in, we can see that part there. And what I want to do is I want to apply an image to that. So in the surface editor, I'm just going to grab the non-face, and I'm going to literally put a picture in that. If I go into texture and I load an image, I'm going to load a picture of some successful students. And you can see that it tries to load that in there. And first of all, let's not choose planar. We can choose several others. If we look at some of them, cubic may not be the way to go. Kind of looks like a hall of mirrors. Cylindrical seemed to be the best one. And I'm going to find the right axis for that. And auto size it. And that seems to have a reasonable effect there. Depending on where we look, we'll see our students' faces. And so if we hit the F9 key, you can see we got something going on. And one more thing, if we go and boost the luminosity there and make that kind of glow. And that may not be bad, especially as we're going to see the logo is really the star of the show. We just want to indicate that there's a human element here, and we'll be doing some animation that'll bring that out. And while we're here, let's also look at the tower for a second. Go to Surface Editor, go to the tower, and there I'm going to make that glossy and reflective. And if I do even just that much, you can see we've got something to start with. And as the camera moves, you'll see reflections of the reflections in the tower itself.